Hey, how's it going? My name is Jose Covarrubias, and I'm going to show you how to run Facebook ads for your lawn care and landscaping business in 2025. I've been running a business for 10 plus years now. We have hit $1 million multiple years already in a row, and I feel like I'm at a point where I can really teach other people how to profit with Facebook ads, right? A lot of people hire agencies. They pay agencies outrageous amount of money only to have very poor results, or maybe it's just too expensive. Maybe you're at a point where it's just too expensive for you. I completely understand that. I was there. I spent the money anyways, got burnt, right? Most people, a lot of agencies have gaslighted me into thinking it's my fault Facebook ads are not working, that it was all on me, right? Really, the issue was that they didn't know how to run ads correctly for the landscaping industry. They also didn't know how to tell you what you're supposed to do with the Facebook leads that you do get, how you should treat them. They didn't explain to me that Facebook ad leads are completely different than Google ad leads. So in this video, I'm going to go through the full process of how to not only set up your Facebook ads, how to structure them, how to create amazing winning ad copy, image, or a video, but I'm also going to talk about Facebook leads and how you should approach them so that you can benefit as much as possible from spending money with Facebook. Let's get into it. All right, so the first thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and head on over to this website right here. That's where you're going to create your Facebook Ads Manager. If you already have an ads manager, if you have run ads before, then go ahead and skip forward to the page where it talks about how to set up Facebook ads. But for the absolute beginner, if you don't know how to set up a Facebook ads at all, like if you've never run them, if you've never boosted a post, if you don't even have a Facebook business suite, this is how you're going to set it up, all right? So this is where you're going to go with that link that I sent you. So this is where you're going to go with that link. And obviously I already have an account. Let me move this over here. You're going to hit up create account, and you're going to go through all the process of doing it. So I can't do it for you. I can't teach you really because I already have multiple accounts actually. But it's very simple, very straightforward. And where it's going to land you is right here. So this is the page you're going to land on. And if you already set this up, go ahead and skip it forward. But if you haven't, this is what you're going to do. Is you can completely customize this. This is my actual landscaping business page. And what you're going to want to do is go down to settings on the bottom left-hand corner right here. Click on settings. Okay, so once you got your page set up here, you can go ahead and fully optimize it. This video is not about that. You're going to want to go to the settings down here, and it's going to take you to this, right? I already have people that I have given control over my page in the past. This is actually a friend of mine. I did hire him a long time ago when I first started running ads. Anyways, you're going to want to add people. You're going to do it here. You're going to want to invite yourself. So enter your email address that you use for your own Facebook page. Okay, you're going to have to give yourself full access. Obviously, I can't do that because I'm already assigned. The next thing you want to do is go to pages, and you need to give your access to your Facebook page. So you need to add, and then add an existing Facebook page. So if you already have a business Facebook page, then that's what you add. You can also create a brand new Facebook business page, or you can request access if you're requesting access to someone else's business page. Maybe you are running ads for your friend, whatever. Request access here, give access to everything, full control. If you're going to own it, go add account. So if you've never boosted a post, if you've never ran ads before, then this is what you need to do. You need to go to, again, add, and it's going to go through something a little bit different, but either create an ad account if you've never created one, or you can add an existing account. If you've run boosted a post ever before, you already have an ad account, and so now you need to link it to this one. So then the other things you need to do is connect your Instagram accounts. Kind of similar process where you have to agree and log in and all that stuff. It's going to take you through verification and all that stuff. So I'm not going to do it here, but it's pretty simple. Go ahead and do it and give access to it if you want to advertise on Instagram. So now that you have created and given access to everything, you want to go to All Tools, and then you want to go to Ads Manager. Now, real quick, if you haven't yet put in your payment information, you can do it now or you can do it later. It's going to ask you, after you create a whole campaign, it will ask you to upload your payment information. So real quick, click on Ads Manager, and it's going to bring up a separate page. And this is my personal one. So what I'm going to do, we're going to start the process of how to create a Facebook campaign. And I'm going to break it down into first the breakdown of the actual campaign itself, the anatomy of a Facebook ad. Okay, so we're going to start by hitting that create button, and then we always want to choose leads. We don't want to choose engagement or anything else. For more advanced stuff, you can use sales, but for most beginners, even mid-tier people, I recommend leads. Okay, nothing else. And it's going to start creating the campaign. It's going to ask us right here. I want to do manuals, so don't show this again. So what we're going to do is, as you can see here, we have new leads campaign, new leads ad set, and new leads ad. So these are the three levels to a Facebook ad campaign. The ad campaign is the umbrella that holds everything. Okay, you only want to have the same services within the same ad campaign. The reason being is because it's going to cost differently, right? If you start mixing different things, like let's say you mix lawn care with a design and build ad, it's gonna be kind of competing, or not even competing, but confusing data coming into your Facebook ads account, because the landscaping or the design and build leads are going to be a much more expensive and a much more different demographic than your lawn care. Yes, there is some overlap there as far as the audience goes. However, to keep things simple and straightforward, I like to separate out the services. So for installs, if you have a primarily install business, then create a one campaign umbrella for all your installs. And then you can go by different types of services like paver patios, you can go retaining walls, boulder walls, water features, all that. You can have that in there. But I would not mix it or put other stuff like maintenance services like lawn care, fertilization, weed control, cleanups, bush trimming, that kind of stuff you want to have separated out. So again, there's that main campaign umbrella, and then underneath or inside of that umbrella is the ad set. So at the ad set is where, at least for the beginners, you're going to control your budget, how much you spend, right? You can have as many of these as you want, and each one is going to have control of how much money it's spending. There's going to be an option, and we'll walk through it here in a little bit, that asks you if you want to the campaign itself to control the budget. Not right now. This whole video is going to be focused on giving the ad set control over your budget. Okay. The ad set is where you're going to be able to choose a lot of where to send your leads to. And here you see all the different options. We'll go back to that here shortly. Your budget and scheduling, your audience, and your placements. So we'll go through that. This is just kind of a view from up above. We'll get a little bit closer further down the video. So that's what the ad set controls. And then the next one is the ad. That's the actual ad. You can have multiple ads within one ad set. You can test. This is where you're going to want to test different images or different videos, right? Different copy. Just the ads themselves. Going back up, let me back up a little bit. Going back to the ad set, this is where you're going to want to test with different ad sets your audience. You're going to want to test two main audiences. You're going to want to test an open targeting, which is anybody and everybody within your specified service areas. The other one is you want to test Advantage Audience Plus, which is Facebook's personalized AI algorithm that they will search it out for you, and they'll choose who they think is going to be the best audience for you. So those are the two ad sets I would set up, each of them with different targeting. So that's basically kind of what you do for the ad set level. You choose your target demographic or your target audience. That's the main difference in all of them. So now I'm just going to go ahead and get into creating a whole ad. I'm going to delete that, so I'm going to start create. And I'm going to go, you can name it right here. Okay, so I did jump over real quick to a different campaign. A different ad manager. And so we're going to go into create right here. Now yours might look a little bit different than what this looks. Facebook likes to play with different user experiences and user interfaces. So if yours doesn't look like it, the principles should still be exactly the same. The options should all be the same. It just might look differently. So here we're going to go to leads. Always choose leads. Always choose leads. Okay. We don't use engagement because this literally only targets people who are likely to engage, meaning like, subscribe, follow, comment. One of those, right? Traffic is when you want to send people to a certain destination, like your Facebook page, and that's it. Like that's people who are visiting and liking and following, or maybe your Instagram. And awareness is similar. App promotions, we're not running any apps here. And sales is for more advanced stuff. Like if you have a landing page for higher ticket items, that's the only time I recommend having people leave the Facebook ad platform and go to a separate website. Otherwise, I really recommend doing leads and having people go to lead forms. So instant forms, here are the options where you can send people to. You can send people to instant forms, messengers. You can have people call you, or you can have people do a few other things. So let's go ahead and hit continue. I always choose manual leads because I don't like giving Facebook control. Facebook is primarily a company that loves profit and wants you to spend as much money with them as possible. And while, yes, you might get some more results, they're not the results you want when you take Facebook's recommendations. So we're going to go manual leads campaign. And the next thing, again, this is a similar screen as we were just on again. And when I name mine, I name it what my general service is going to be. So this is going to be Lawn Care Services 2025. That's the name of the campaign. Okay. I don't ever mess with this right here. I have never never had any issues, so don't touch it. This is already preset. We're going to do an auction, and then we're going to do leads. This is what we want. Now, this right here is what I was talking about earlier. It used to be called CBO, Campaign Budget Optimization, where the campaign itself has is telling where to spend the money, right? We want this off, just like it is here. That for right now, that is the automated setting. We want to turn it off. Okay, we don't want the campaign to control the budget. Don't worry about A/B testing. We do our own testing. So we're gonna hit next. If my stuff will move out of the way. Okay, so the lead ad set. So the first thing I'm going to name it is open, because this is for open targeting. And let's say I'm going to do FWC FERT and weed control. Let's say this is what my this ad set is going to be. I'm going to advertise fertilization and weed control. You can name it whatever you want. Maybe you do pools. Maybe that's what you're trying to do. Maybe you do boulder walls. Maybe that's what you're trying to do. Whatever. Maybe you can do just one big generic one like design and build. You can do lawn care, whatever you want to call it. But I'd like to minimize it into one service here. Okay. And so these are where we can send our leads to, Facebook calls it a conversion action or conversion location in the distance because it's the location we're sending them to, right? We can send them to a website and calls, instant forms, which is my preferred method, Messenger, instant forms and Messenger, Instagram, WhatsApp, calls, or an app. Again, instant forms. I have found that instant forms just produce much higher quality leads than any of the other options for maintenance services. If you're doing a higher ticket, I'm talking $5,000 plus, then you might want to send them to a landing page like a website, and they would have to leave Facebook platform and go to a separate website where then you have a landing page or your website and you ask them to fill out a form there. I still prefer this. Facebook does not like it when you send people away from their platform. So Messenger, you can do Messenger, however, it produces low quality leads. It does not take any energy for someone to hit the message now button and just send you a message. How much? Right? That's a very cold way to acquire a lead. You can eventually convert them, but I have found just lesser quality. It's a lot of people who just want a quick price are not really interested. If it's good enough, then maybe. But with instant forms, it takes a little bit more effort to fill out a form, and then that form gets sent to your email, or it's on the Facebook platform, and then you can contact them. So we're going to make sure that your correct Facebook page is connected right here. This is my own company. We're going to leave all that alone. Don't touch it. Your budget. Now, your budget is you want to spend at least $15 a day or more. The more, the better, obviously. But to start out testing, I think $20 is a good medium. I've had great success doing $30 a month. A day. So don't touch the scheduling areas right here. You never want to set an end date because Facebook will just nilly-willy spend your money, force it to spend money, and it just won't produce good results. So you can't schedule it of when to start. So I have not found that a certain time is better because it takes time for Facebook to process your ad after you publish it and making sure that it's all okay. So you never know when that's actually going to happen, so you can just set this for sometime in the future. So let's go to tomorrow. That's perfectly fine time. So you can schedule budget increases, but for now, don't worry about this. Okay. So audience controls. This is where you really want to pay attention. If you've gotten this far, I believe I had a section earlier in the video that talked about the audience size. You want your audience size, which is found right here, and it's estimated. It's not very accurate. But you want this to say at least 50,000 people. I have not had good luck helping other people run Facebook ads with an audience size less than 50,000 people. So if that's you, I'm sorry. If you still want to run ads, then you're going to probably spend a lot of money. I'm talking about $100 or more per lead. And they might not be good leads because the algorithm is just trying to find somebody that is a good fit for you. So again, going back to my principle of I don't like giving Facebook any control or as little control as possible, I go to show more options. Actually, no, down here. I go to switch to original audience options. I'm still very controlling about that. I use original audience. I know it says 33% less per result, but this is what I always start out with. The other option, and so when you go to create a new ad set, which real quick I'll just show you. You go to duplicate right there, okay, and then you're gonna come back into this section and you can go back to the AA plus, which is Advantage Audience. You can use Advantage Audience right there. Basically, that's Facebook's way, or AI. They're going to take full control of your audience selection and they're going to do their best to try to find your audience. And it can work. If your Facebook has a lot of data, if your Facebook page has a lot of likes, followers, interaction, engagement. If you've run ads before, a lot of ads before, and with success, like as in you had a lot of leads come through or a lot of messengers come through, then this is the Advantage Plus will work for you. So since we're going with open targeting, right? That's the title of it, of our ad set, open. That lets me know that this ad set is targeting option is open, meaning everybody that's in the areas that I choose. So we're going to choose our areas right here, our locations. Now you can target by city, you can target by zip code. My preferred method of targeting is by dropping pins. And you just drop a pin right here, and boom. And you can change this down a little bit more if you want to be a little bit more granular. Okay, so for simplicity's sake, I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna choose the age, and likely if this is a landscaping business or lawn care business or any other home service business, your target audience is not going to be under 30 for the most part. After running Facebook ads for a while, I have determined that for my business, it's actually 35 plus. Okay, so I don't want to waste any money advertising to those people that will very likely not convert into a lead. So I leave the genders because that's actually about 50-50 for me. This detailed targeting, I edit it and I unclick that because I don't want to give, for this ad set specifically, I don't want to give Facebook any control. And then you can choose to save the audience. I'm not going to, and you can name it whatever you want, but I'm not going to. And then the next is placements, is basically where your ad is going to be seen. And I don't like that. I like to go manual placements. And the reason I like to do that is because if you really think about it, there's only a few areas where you as a Facebook user really click on ads, and it's usually in your stories, your feed, or anything like that. If you're watching a video, in the middle of watching a video or story, you don't want an ad to pop up. You can't wait for that little thing to pop up and be like, skip ad, right? So automatically unclick audience network. I don't want my ads to go there and waste my ad stream. So sorry, there was a bug right there. So in-stream ads for videos, unclick that. Search results, unclick that. And basically these two are the ones that I want to show my ads in. And you can see right here all the options, and same thing for feeds. There are a few things that for feeds, like I don't want to be in the Explore. Those are just not really high converting places. So these are the highest converting places. And so now we're done with the ad set level, and we're going to go down to the ads. And so here I'm going to name it what my, you can either name it for what your offer is, or you can name it what your ad is. So here I'm going to name it my offer. So I'm going to go free ration, because that's my offer. And we'll go into that here shortly. If you don't know what an offer is, if you don't know what a call out is, I'm going to basically break down the anatomy of a Facebook ad here shortly. So make sure again that your Facebook page and Instagram account are connected. And in the ad setup, we're going to use a single image or video. I actually have never done carousel. I don't know that it would work better than this. So multi-advertiser ads, make sure that is unchecked. Basically, you're going to share a space with someone else that's running ads. We don't want that, okay? Because people are going to ignore that. So we're going to set up a creative right here. And I'm going to run a video. And again, this might look different for everybody, but basically your primary text is where you're going to input your copy, right? And the headline is you're going to reiterate what your offer is. That's at the bottom part. Just give me a second, we'll go into that. And then description, I've never used it. I don't use it because sometimes it doesn't show up. It doesn't seem to affect the performance of it, so I leave that blank. And then the call to action, or the CTA, is I use sign up, learn more, or get offer. You can use get quote if you're doing an instant pricing thing. So if you're gonna give someone an instant price right away somehow, then use get quote. Because the thinking is, if they ask you, and my light just went off, if they go and they're expecting a get quote, they're expecting basically something in this day and age, an instant quote. And if you don't provide that, they're very likely to just drop off, go back to their scrolling. So I don't like using get quote. I like get offer, learn more, or sign up. So I'm going to click learn more. And this is where your ad copy goes. Reiterate your here. Okay. And then you're going to want to upload. I'm just uploading a random video. Go ahead and take their recommendations. Now you want to, what you can do is you can change this. You can replace this. If your video that you took with your camera straight up and down on your mobile phone doesn't work out here on the square, then you can change it. There's ways to change it. You want to make sure that the aspect ratio is correct for this setting. So you want to have a video or an image in both aspect ratios. You can replace it here. Go ahead and re-upload it here, whatever you need to do. Okay, you hit click next. Go ahead and let them do all the optimizations. They just make it look better supposedly, and then you click done. Okay, and so let's just go ahead and close that. And this is it copied all over. Sometimes it doesn't copy all over, and you're gonna have to manually go back and input your ad copy here. And see, this is what line 2, line 3. So usually you can only see 2 lines. There we go. So, which brings me next to this very, very important part. Okay, so there are 4 main elements that must be considered when you're creating your Facebook ads. Okay, and without doing that, if you're just copying other people or doing like what I've seen a lot, whereas people will just go make an ad, put a random image, and then put a list of all of their services. If that's what you're going to do, you're wasting your money on ads. So this is the anatomy of an ad, and don't mind that this is for a carpet cleaning company. I don't run ads for them. This is just a random ad that I screenshotted. So this is the anatomy of an ad. First, you have your ad copy, which is what you write. Right, this is what you see under your logo. Obviously, it says sponsored because that is an ad. And the next part of the ad is the creative. You can either choose an image, video, or carousel, which is a bunch of different images that you can choose, oscillate through. And then the headline is right here. This is what I'm talking about. This is where you want to reiterate. Okay, and then this is your call to action. So your ad copy appears above the creative. The top 2 lines are absolutely crucial for your ad to be successful. If you want to grab people's attention on Facebook, people on Facebook are probably on the toilet scrolling, whether they be at home or at work. They're scrolling. They're just wasting time, and they're not out there on purpose looking for a service, anything. So your copy has to be absolutely attention grabbing. So the best thing to do is to put your offer and a call out right there. You must have an offer, you must have a call out, and it should echo what you're going to talk about in your video or your image, right? The ad creative is right below that copy, and right now I believe I already said it before, video outperforms images, and the first 3 to 5 seconds are the most crucial. If you don't have a good hook, right? Imagine you're doing some fishing and you got your line and you got your hook. Your hook is what grabs the fish. Well, your video creative is what is going to grab the lead. attention for long enough, for 3 to 5 seconds. That's all you need. But if you can't get it down, then you're not gonna grab as many leads as you possibly can. It could be humorous, it could be funny, something just to stop people scroll. Okay. The headline is literally just reiterating what you have in your offer up above. Call to action is what you want people to do. You are directing people to do something, take action. And so you need to get this part correct. Because if you have the wrong part, let's say in your copy it says click learn more, but then in your button you have get estimate or get offer, something different. It's not congruent. People will be confused, and you're less likely to get people to click on this part to get their information. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. But before we get started, something very important that I believe is one of the main reasons why when I paid an agency to do this, it wasn't successful, because they would ask me, oh, what do you want to do? How do you want to advertise? I'm like, I don't know, I do this, and this. Go and learn, go search Alex Hormozi if you don't know who he is yet, and look up his value formula, Alex Hormozi value formula. And what you're going to find is it's a division equation. On top is all positive stuff, and on the bottom of that equation is all negative stuff. And that equals, when you divide it, that equals your value or perceived value, right? So on top you have stuff like your dream outcome, the desired results, or maybe you're doing it on the other side where you, instead of a dream outcome, it's you're pointing out a pain point, right? You don't want that. You're basically telling them that you are the solution to their pain point, stuff like that. So I use that to create my copy, and it's been working for me very well so far. And I use that to be able to not only create the copy, but also formulate a great offer. So let's talk about the copy, the script, and the video. Okay. The copy is very important. You need to call out your audience right away, the first sentence or second sentence, and then you also need to call out, you need to say what it is you're offering. You can read this. You need to have an offer so good that it makes people feel stupid to not at least reach out to you. They might not go with you, but at least they're reaching out with you. And once you have them in your system, saved in your system, you can always reach out to them for free and make money later on down the road. Anyways, so the copy is very, very important. Have an offer, have an amazing offer. For lawn care, you can do third mow free. For fertilizing weed control, you can do 50% off your first treatment. You can do, what I'm doing is a free aeration. You also want to have things like a timeline of the desired outcome. So for mowing, for instance, you can add, we will mow your lawn this week. Now, the same week you sign up. Or even if you're available to do it, you can do it today. Get your lawn mowed today, or get your lawn mowed within 24 hours, or something. Point out the benefits of hiring you. Don't put a list of your services, but call out your benefits, their dream desired results, right? No one wants to know about your services. If you're a lawn care company, obviously everybody's going to know that you have the same services as the bajillion other services. So pinpoint easy signups. How easy? It only takes 2 steps or 3 steps to sign up with us. Point out how many positive reviews you have, how many clients you serve within the area, all that kind of stuff. Give as much of that in the copy. But the most important part is the first 2 lines that you see before the see more. Those are the most important part. Call out your audience, homeowners or residents of a certain city, which is what typically works for lawn care landscaping. For bigger ticket items like landscaping, you can actually do something like brand new homeowners, or did you just buy new homes, or does your new homeowners, you need a backyard landscaping company, whatever. Something like that. Call it out and then give your offer, or give your offer first and then call them out. free aerations for the first whatever. You want to have some kind of scarcity to give people more reason to click on your ad and give you their information. So this is an example copy. You are free to copy it if you want and use it for your own company. You can switch it around as you want. So I got the hook, I got the call out at the first 2 lines, right? 100% weed free, lush, and green in just 15 days. So I also gave you a timeline plus free aeration, so an extra bonus. So, I mean, this is a very good offer that people, anybody in Spokane, my city, can take advantage of. You know, I'm going to play around with my city / homeowners. I'm going to play around that to see what performs best. You know, right away I point out a pain point. This is a very common thing. I'm tired of your unreliable lawn care services. Or, you know, I can play with this again. Tired of having weeds in your lawn. You know, stuff like that. Tired of those embarrassing weeds in your lawn. Something that points at pain, right? And you can talk a little bit about yourself. Again, this is all results oriented or dream oriented, where it shows the potential lead what they get. Don't list your services. They don't care about your services. They don't care about your personal company. They want to know what you can do for them. And again, at the bottom, I reiterate the offer with a deadline. All right, so now that we have learned how to create amazing copy with an amazing offer, now let's go back to the other page and figure out, okay, this is where that copy goes, right? The first 2 lines and then the rest of it. Make sure you're organizing it, make it look nice. That way when you click on see more, it looks nice. Use emojis, all that wonderful stuff. This is where you put your headline, which shows right here. Reiterate your offer here, right? Description, I've never used description. Well, that's not true. I have used it and I've also not used it. And in either scenario, it doesn't make a difference because it doesn't always show the description. So sometimes here, it'll show up right here sometimes, not all the time. Just I haven't found rhyme or reason for it to show up or of when it does or when it doesn't. So ignore it. And here, again, remember to use the correct call to action. If you are not providing an instant quote, then don't get quote, because that's what people, especially in 2025, are expecting, an instant quote, right? Do learn more, sign up, or get offered. And then the destination. Basically, this is how we're going to build a form to where the destination to where we are sending our leads. Okay, so because I have a bunch of different forms, what I'm going to do, you are going to click on create a form if you've never created a form. What I'll do is I'll just use one of these forms and I'll walk you through the process. I'll just hit duplicate, even though I'm not going to duplicate it. So starting from the top, you can name your form, test form, copy, use more volume initially. Once you have some leads coming in, I'm talking like 30 plus, you're going to want to do maybe higher intent. What higher intent does, there's a lot of more options that you have, basically it's more filtered, and you have more things for your leads to go through to actually give you their information. And then Rich Creative is a very detailed, you can add a lot of things about your company. It's all pretty simple once you get in there and do it. I'm not going to walk you through all that because it's that simple. So for now, we'll just use more volume and it's all going to be similar. You just fill out what it says. This is what I have. This is what I use in mine. It's very simple, very straight to the point. Please fill out our form. And it says right here, we will use your information to reach out to you. Literally just tell them exactly what they need to do and what's going to be done with their information. Here, I can do, please fill out the contact form below. This is right here. And then I had to go in and add a category because when you're starting a form, it's only going to show 2 default options, which is full name and email. I added phone number. You can do that by adding category, contact fields, and you can choose more if you want. Remember, the more things you have your leads do, that is considered friction. And so the more they have to do to become a Facebook lead for you, the less likely you are to get a high amount of leads, if that makes any sense. So basically, the more barriers you put, and every item that they have to enter is a barrier, is considered a barrier. Every question they have to answer is considered a barrier. You're going to have a much higher quality lead. And at the beginning, you don't want to have so many filters. You want to have as many leads as possible, that we're getting data, Facebook knows exactly who your leads are. And then over time, you filter it out. Over time, you add friction. So for now, this is all we need. For your privacy link, you can literally go to Google. If you don't have one on your website, which most websites do, a privacy link, and you can copy and paste whatever you find into here. I don't think Facebook really cares or checks. And then hit next, and then on the final page it says, thank you, you're all set. Someone from our team will reach out to you in 24 hours. Make sure that whatever you put in there is actually accurate and true. Don't put 1 hour if you cannot reach them in 1 hour, because that is already will be a disappointment and they will not trust you. So here there is a button that they can click, and you can choose from all these options. I do call business. That's going to be the best bet for me if they're actually wanting to go with us right away, or at least getting an estimate right away. So you can change what it says. You can put your phone number in there. And again, you can connect with them via Messenger. I prefer not to, because I don't check it. If you are one that checks all the time, then go for it. It can work. And then hit create form. Obviously, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to create this form. And so once you create the form, make sure you're selecting the correct one. And that is it. Once you have completed all those steps, leave everything else as is and hit publish. If you followed this tutorial exactly, you shouldn't have any problems, and it should only be a matter of hours now before Facebook reviews your ad, your campaign, and decides whether it's good to go or not. That can take literally about anywhere from 1 hour to 3 or 4 hours. Usually done within the same day, especially if it's during business hours that you submitted or published your ad. So on to the next thing. How do you know you have a winning ad? How do you know, after you've successfully launched your first ad, how do you know if your ad is profitable? How do you know if you should cut off your ad? How do you know if it's a bad ad? Well, let's go into that real quick. So here I am in a different account, and it has a lot of data. It has all of the history of ads that we've run, okay? And so some things you want to look at. There's several different metrics. So first of all, this is the main thing you really were looking at. If you're getting results, then great. If you're not getting results, but you're spending money, then maybe it's going to be cut off. Maybe it needs to be cut off. Considered before you cut it off, okay? First of all, give your campaign at least 7 days. Really, it's not about the time that it runs. Rather, it's about the amount of conversions it takes, okay? Facebook used to take 7 days in the learning stage, all right? Right here, where it says in draft, it's going to say in learning or learning in progress or something like that. And basically, Facebook's algorithm is trying to figure out who to show your ad to, who's going to be likely to convert into a Facebook lead, right? A conversion. So while it's searching, it requires about 30 conversions or 30 Facebook leads for your ad to get out of the learning stage. Once it's in the learning stage, then the algorithm has established, okay, this is the group of people that I want to send this ad to, and now I'm going to focus on this group. Before it was like, it was sending, if you imagine, okay, this is, the circle. I know this is a bad representation, but this is a circle. Imagine a full circle, tiny circles, and each of those tiny circles represents a cluster or a demographic that Facebook could show your ads to. It's testing an ad here, an ad here, an ad here, an ad here, and here. And it's testing a couple ads in different circles. Once it finds the circle or the circles, maybe two that are kind of overlapping like this, that are close enough to each other and to what your settings are, once it finds that, then it will start showing that's when it's going to be out of the learning stage. It's going to start showing your ads to that demographic or those demographics, right? So you want to give it time. You want to make sure that this is going up to at least 30 leads, 30 conversions. So as you can see here, we have several different conversions of this account on several different campaigns. So one thing that KPI you should keep your eyes on, key performance indicator of your campaign, is this number right here, the frequency. And this tells you how many times per day somebody is seeing, the frequency that someone is seeing your ad. And anything higher than this, like for instance, this right here was really high, right? That's really high. That means what happens as this gets higher, anything over 4.0 is what I would consider high when you're seeing it 4 times a day. Your ad itself experiences something that's called ad fatigue, and essentially people get used to it and they literally just scroll right over it. It doesn't stop them. Even if you had a great hook, over time, the longer you look at something, you just get more tired of looking at it, right? As a Facebook user, and you're just gonna, I know exactly what that is. I'm just gonna skip over it. I wasn't interested the first few times that I saw it. I'm not interested in it now, so I'm just gonna skip right over it. So when that happens, that's when your performance starts to really drop, and your cost starts to skyrocket, right? You're spending a lot of money for each impression, for each 1,000 impressions. So we don't want to do that. And at that point, then you should reconsider either relaunching your ad, which literally all you have to do is, here, I'll show you real quick. Let's go to this one. And all you have to do is click on this and hit duplicate. Literally, and then what you do is you shut this one off. So right here's where you shut it. In this right here, this button right here on the right hand corner, that's where you shut off this ad. And so let me just go ahead and do it. So let's go duplicate. Okay, and so this is the original, this is the copy. I'm going to go to the original. I'm going to turn that off. Go ahead and go to the copy, make sure that's on. And you can literally be the same exact thing. Just go ahead and double check that everything is correct, that everything's sold the same. It's literally identical. But because you just launched a new ad, Facebook looks at it as a brand new ad, and therefore it doesn't have all the fatigue, it doesn't have all the high frequencies, all that stuff. It's launching as a new ad, and because it's a new ad, Facebook can start sending it out to a different of those clusters of people, right? So, and it can start performing very well. And again, you might have to do this after 1 week. It all depends. You got to keep an eye on that number of frequency. You got to keep an eye on your KPIs. So another thing, let me see. So this is what you're paying for cost per impressions. This is what Facebook actually charges you for. They don't charge you just like Google. Google will charge you for clicks. They're not charging you for clicks. They're not charging you for leads. What they're charging you for is your cost per 1,000 impressions. Basically, how much does it cost for a set of 1,000 eyeballs to see your ad? And it's costing you $21 per every 1,000. Right? And CTR, the higher, the better. Okay, the higher, our best performing ad, let's see, where was it? Yours. So this one right here, we had a 1.12 CTR. That means that of the eyeballs that saw it, 1% clicked on it, and that's considered good. Obviously, we have a few here that are good. This is completely unlike Google. If you know Google and their CTR, you know the higher the better, obviously. But 5%, really for me, I like to do 8% and above for their Google CTR. But with Facebook, like not a lot of people are looking for ads. Hardly anybody's looking for something to buy right on Facebook. So that's why this is so low. But that's one thing you want to look at, is that your CTR should be at least 1%. That's how you know you have something good. So those are the few key measurements on the Facebook, and that's basically how you add. Maybe once your ad gets old, maybe change out the picture or the video, change something about it, right? Maybe, but with the first 3 seconds, a different hook, right? One thing I'm seeing a lot right now is using, what do they call it? I'm sorry, I'm not up to date with all the social media slang, but where you take someone else's video and then you take the first few seconds of it and then you come in afterwards with your own video where you splice them together to make one video, right? Like for instance, that Asian sign guy, hey I'm Tony, or hey homie I'm Tony, or something like that. That kind of social media post, I know he's doing organic social media, but doing something like that as an ad, it's going to have a really high retention rate. It's going to have a really good hook. A lot of the stuff that he uses, and people watch it because it's hilarious, right? So if you do something like that, if you just change out that first part, but the rest of the video is nearly identical to your previous video, that could be enough to create a really good ad. And so you can test. So test one thing at a time. Test first the image or the creative. Change the creative one way or another, and just duplicate it. Change out the video or image, and then publish it and let that run for about a week. The other things you can do, and you can test many things at once. If you have the budget, if you can test the budget, and you're going to want to do this in different ad sets. So going back to the top, so right here, this is going to be one. You can all do this in the same ad set. So you just make as many copies as you need, and you go in there and you change the video. So all of these are going to be, you can name the videos, hook 1, hook 2, hook 3. You can have all the different hooks, or whatever naming convention you want to do. Just make sure you're consistent with this so you don't get confused. And then the other one, it could be, video 1 with hook 1 and copy 2. And you can interchange the copies, but only mess with one thing at a time. If you have the budget, all this is going to get this, because this ad set is controlling how much budget gets distributed to each. Facebook is going to distribute whatever budget you set here. It's going to distribute it into the best performing ads. Whatever people are engaging with, that's what's going to get the juice. So just know that. You could create separate ad sets. You can duplicate this, and you can control it that way better to see which one does better individually. That's another way to do it, but I've always done it this way, and I've had good success. So now the real question is, how do you know that this cost, your cost per lead, how do you know you're actually profitable? How do you know this number is too high or too low, right? Because what you see here is not your actual final number that you really need to look at. And let me explain. Let me go over. Actually, real quick, before I go over the really nitty-gritty detail of the numbers, I did want to go into this one thing. Is, okay, once you have your Facebook ad set up and people are going to start giving you their information, becoming leads, how do you access that? How do you access your lead information? Well, I'll show you the free way to do it. It's kind of a pain in the butt. It's the native Facebook platform way to do it. And from this screen, you click on the All Tools, and then you click on, where is it at? Instant Forms, okay? And it's going to bring you into this, and it's going to bring you a list of all of your forms, okay? And what you're going to do is you can click on Download, and it's going to give you a couple of options. The first option is the option that is free and you should use, okay? It's going to take you to the Lead Center. You can choose to download all these into a PDF or Excel document. That's kind of a pain in the butt. But go ahead and click on Lead Center. Use Lead Center, okay? And it's going to load the Lead Center. And here are everybody's names that all campaigns had. You can filter, if you're on the desktop, you can filter. You can use any of these filters to really narrow down what you're looking at. But here, I'm not going to click on that, but once you click on somebody, right here, a new screen on the right side is going to pop up with your customer, with the leads information. You're going to have their phone number, their email, and their contact name. Take this, call them, all that stuff, and you can label these people. You see, these people were converted into actual, for the Facebook site, a conversion I call someone who actually became a client. Okay, I have a lot of different labels. You can do in progress, qualified, estimate sent. So I when we send an estimate, I come back and change this to estimate sent. If I don't send an estimate, if I contact the first time, second time, that way I know where I'm at in the process. Now, this is the manual, labor-intensive part, and it works, but it's a lot of work. If you have 100 leads a week coming in like we sometimes do. It's very difficult if you don't have an admin person to handle this. If you're out in the field, this can be very, very difficult. So what I recommend is going to a website, and I'll show you right here, is using this software. It's an app that you can download. It's called Privier, something like that. And what it does, they have a free version, and they actually have a 14-day free trial with Pro, I believe. And essentially what it does is it integrates with your Facebook account, with your Facebook ads account, and it sends leads to this app, and this app, there's notifications on your phone. So every time you have a new lead, it pops up on your phone. Outside of using some kind of external app, this is the one I found that is not only the best, but also free. They have a free version where you will get emails. After the free trial, you'll get emails all the time for every single lead. And within the app itself, you can make templates to send to these customers or to these leads. That way you don't have to be constantly on your phone or available all the time. Remember, you want to contact these leads within 30 seconds to 1 minute after they submitted their form. The faster the better. And that is, unless you are standing by waiting at all times, that's basically impossible, especially if you're a solopreneur or if you're smaller, you run a few guys, if you're crews, you're still out in the field probably. So I recommend downloading this app, and for 14 days you get the full version, and it sends you texts, and you have the automations that you can send. You can preset them, make them templates, and it'll automatically send them when somebody becomes a lead, and that basically keeps people engaged to you, to your offer, and then you can go in there and then manually reach out to them. But it's still cheap enough, $25 a month. You do the monthly, sorry. It's $35 a month if you go month by month for one user, and it's everything. It's unlimited. It's great. I really like it. It's been a game changer for me and for the people I've helped out. So this is something I really, really recommend. I get, because I don't get any kickback off of this, I just really recommend it. I really like it, and we use it every single day. Okay, so that's how you handle leads. That's how you can nurture leads. That's how you can follow up with leads. You can set automations. This $35 a month subscription is worth it, because even if you only make one sale a month, I guarantee you it's going to cover this cost. Okay, so speaking of cost, it leads me to my next thing, is how do you know that you are being profitable with your ad set? Are you spending too much per lead? Are you spending not enough? How do you know if that you can grow? How can you scale and still be profitable? Well, let's jump into that real quick. Okay, so here I jumped over onto my whiteboard, and we're gonna do some math. I'm gonna explain some things. So some KPIs, numbers, key performance indicators is what KPI stands for, that you need to know even before you run Facebook ads. Obviously, most of us, if you're anything like me, are just nilly-willy running ads without ever looking at our numbers first, without considering anything. Trust me, that's how I've done it for most of my life, most of my marketing life, right? Whatever. But since you're watching this video, now you got to be accountable. Know your numbers, figure out your numbers, figure this out. That way you can run ads, be profitable, and you can scale them. So, know your actual numbers, right? Like in your business, I'm talking about know your break-even number, know your profit margins for the service, especially the service that you're advertising here, right? Know your break-even number, because if you don't know it, then you don't know at what point you start losing money. You don't know at what point you start making money, right? You don't know how much you can actually pay for a lead and know that you're actually making money. What good does it do you if you might be making a whole bunch of revenue, high revenue amount, but you're literally losing 99% of it by not only in your cost of goods sold, not only if your daily operations expenses, but also with the marketing. If your marketing expenses override your profitability, then what's the point of having a high revenue number? You have all this headache for absolutely nothing, right? So let's be profitable. Let's run a profitable business. Let's be responsible here, okay? So pause this video before you even run ads. Go ahead and figure out your numbers. I want you to know what it costs you per hour to generate revenue for what your break even is, and then what your profit hourly rate is, right? And there should be a delta, there should be a gap in there. Next thing you need to know is if you've been running for any period of time, you need to know what your closing conversion ratio is. Meaning, after you sent the estimate, out of those estimates that you sent, how many of those did you turn into paying clients? Because not everybody turns into paying clients, right? So from the estimates, know your closing ratio. That's what I consider a closing ratio, to closing them to become an actual paying client, right? That way, and we're going to use this number in our calculations to figure out how much we can spend per lead. Know your customer acquisition cost. What does it cost you to acquire a client? Obviously, you probably don't know this. Not until you've run some kind of marketing and done all the math and figured out, and hopefully you tracked all of your marketing. Hopefully you tracked whenever you get a new lead, hopefully your CRM, and hopefully you're running a CRM for your business, you should be able to select, or you should select, tag, whatever you want to call it, where this lead came from. Did it come from Facebook ads? And if it did, which Facebook ad? If they, did it come from Google? If they did come from Google, did it come from Google local services, Google ads, or organic Google? Now, this one is really hard to keep track of because everybody just says, oh, just Google. I just Googled, I just searched. It's difficult. But if you're running ads, there are ways to keep track of where everybody comes from for the most part. It's not 100% accurate and bulletproof, but you can get very detailed with it still. So same thing with Facebook is obviously if you have their information from, whether you're using Privier or you're using the Facebook native platform to extract your leads information, then you know that those people came from Facebook and you know which ad they came from. So keep track of that. That way at the end of the season or the end of the month, you can do some math and figure out, okay, I spent $5,000 this month and I acquired this many clients. So you do math and you figure out, oh, it cost me this much for this many clients. It cost me this much for this many leads and I got this many clients out of it, right? You got to keep track of all those things. Keep track of leads, amount of converted clients from those leads, and how much you spent total, okay? Another thing you got to know is lifetime value. This right here is the key to knowing how much marketing money you can spend on each customer. Imagine or think about how much is a customer worth to you, right? Are you willing to spend $200? That sounds high for a lead. Are you willing to spend $200? Are you willing to spend $500? Or are you only able to spend $50? The higher you can make the lifetime value of your client, the better. And you can achieve a higher lifetime value. So let's say I'm selling fertilizer services, and in one season they're going to generate $400 in revenue. Okay, well that's what it's worth for one season. How long do they stick with you? Okay, so what's the lifetime of your customer? What's your retention rate? Right? We keep clients an average of 5 years for fertilizer and weed control. Okay, it's a lot less for mowing, but and obviously if you're doing one-time services, then it's literally just that one time. But you can make them, if you do certain things, you can increase the lifetime value, even if they are only a one-time service type of deal. So let's do, in this instance, fertilizer. Okay, what if I sell them on a core aeration or a overseeding or a power raking or something else? Maybe I'll do a fungicide program. Maybe I'll do a lawn pest control. Maybe I'll do a post-summer rehydration upsell. So all these things are usually, profitable services that you want to upsell them on, and you are effectively increasing the value of that one customer from not just being a fertilizer and weed control company. I'm upselling all these other services, and hopefully at the end of the year, now instead of only producing $400, they have now produced $700, $500, whatever. anything above the initial service that they signed up for. So if you can, then you multiply that yearly amount by however many years you keep them. So that way you it's more worth it. You know that if you can keep a customer for 3, 4, 5 years, I am willing to pay X amount because I know they're going to give me X amount of profits in 5 years. So the last thing to know is knowing out of all the Facebook leads that you got, so that you receive the information from Facebook, and they're called Facebook leads, but not all of those will be leads. And let me explain. I consider a lead somebody not only that is qualified, but that I sent an estimate to. A lot of those Facebook leads that I get, a lot of those people that give me their information, I will probably not send an actual estimate to. Now, it depends on the service, and it depends on the value of what I'm offering, that percentage. With lawn care services, I'm probably going to send an estimate to the majority of those. I'm talking like 85, 95%. I'm going to send an estimate to, okay? So only 85, let's say I got 100 Facebook leads, only 85 of those are actual leads. So keep track of this information. Let's say for landscaping, for design and build, it's a much higher ticket item. Out of 100 Facebook leads, I'm probably only going to send an estimate to maybe 35 of those people. And that sounds like a lot, but and it is. It's a big difference. But we're also talking about much different profit margins, right? We're talking about big numbers with design and build, at least for us. We have a minimum of $30,000 for the job. So a lot of people, we filter them out, right? But there's still some people that make it through that think they want to spend $30,000, or maybe their budget is $30,000, but the scope of work that they were imagining prior to contacting us is way beyond $30,000, and that was their top end margin, right? Or the top end budget. So anyways, a lot of those leads are not going to turn into actual leads. So we need to keep track of that, because it's all these numbers are going to come into play real quick. So let me pull that. Okay. So in this instance, fertilizer weed control, let's say the customer generates $400 a year. Whatever your season is, whatever, that's what it is. $500 or $400, excuse me. I'm pulling out my calculator. At a 50% margin, and these are fictitious numbers, okay? Don't base your numbers off of this. Please do your own math. At 50% profit margin, I made $200 profit, right? That's money left in the bank after paying my labor and my COGS. So my cost was $200, also 50%. Okay, this person is generating me $200 a year in profit. That means that my lifetime, so my retention rate is about 5 years. So my lifetime value is $1,000 for this client. It's going to give me in 5 years. It's going to give me $1,000 in profit, not revenue. Okay, don't think about revenue. Revenue is what's the recent word I heard Mike Andy say. Anyways, revenue is it doesn't matter. Okay, revenue is irrelevant in this case, and really in most cases, it's just a glamorous number that makes you look good, look fancy. But if you don't have any money left in the bank account, it doesn't matter. Okay, so I know now from this $400 a year client, in 5 years, I'm going to make $1,000. This is almost guaranteed, because in my company, I already know that. I already know that the average customer for fertilizer and weed control stays with us for 5 years. So I can guarantee, basically, that I'm going to get from one client an average of $1,000. Obviously, with fertilizer weed control, there's varying yard sizes, but we're using this. This is our median treatment size for clients, right? So let's say that I want to spend $5,000 a month on Facebook ad spend, right? If you're paying an agency, then you'll have to add their fee, their monthly fee on top of this. But this is why you're watching this video, is because you want to learn to do your own ads and be more profitable. So let's say, remember earlier where I was showing you that I was paying a certain amount per lead or for on Facebook lead or whatever, it's costing me $50 per lead. Let's say I close 10 leads. That's a total of $500 that I spent. Okay. And let's say I convert, of those Facebook leads, I convert 50%. I'm just using really easy numbers. 50% convert into actual estimates sent. So actual leads are only 5 out of the 10 initial leads, that people that gave me their information. 5 of them I'm considering an actual lead. So now I'm paying $100. $500 divided by 5 is $100 per actual lead. Okay? And so my closing ratio of those leads, so of the estimates I sent, my close ratio is 50%. Okay? Again, these are all fictitious numbers. I'm just using easy numbers. So of those out of those 5, I closed an average of 3.2 sales, right? So if I'm using those same numbers that I used previously, that means that out of the initial $500, I may have gotten 10 leads, but I only actually sent 5 estimates, and out of those 5, an average of 3.2 sales or estimates, then it's costing me $156 per client. That's my customer acquisition cost. That is my AC, customer acquisition cost. So now, what was my profit before? Profit is $200 minus 156. Sorry, I can't math easy numbers like that. Anybody else do that? The simple numbers is really hard. Maybe I'm just retarded. $44. I'm still profiting $44 the first year. Remember, in 5 years, I was originally going to profit $1,000. So if I do $1,000 minus 44, I'm still going to profit $956 at the end of 5 years. So for me to spend $156 for a client is not outrageous. It seems outrageous if you only look at it in the initial thing. So, 40 is, what does that turn to? How much profit percentage is it? I'm not going to do the math, but you can figure it out. That it's a very low profit percentage. It's just around 10% profit, right? If your initial revenue was $400 and your profit and number is 44, that's about 10%. Is that worth it to you, right? At first, that doesn't seem worth it for a lot of people. Who wants to spend that much money and effort calling leads, hiring admin, yada yada for 10% profit? But that's only the first year. You have to look at it big scale. You have to look at it especially for recurring services. You have to look at it in this way that, okay, I'm going to retain this customer for 4-5 years, and it's going to produce me $956 in profit, not in revenue, in profit. That's definitely worth it. Now I know, okay, if it's gonna, I know, okay, let's say I want to grow my company or this service. I want to gain, I need to gain. Let's say I'm hiring somebody full time and I'm opening up a new truck. Okay, well, in order to do this truck needs, let's call it 400 clients, okay, to have a full-time route. Okay, for full-time route, okay, for someone. So that means at $400 times 156, sorry, 400 clients times 456 per client. That means I need to spend $62,400 to acquire these 400 clients. Now you know. You can go into the season. Let's say now it's next season. Let's say you have a full season of running ads, and now you can make all this math up. Now you can do this math. Now you know, going into this next season, okay, I need to save up or come up somehow with $62,400 in order to acquire 400 clients. Now, obviously, because this is not perfect, this is not Facebook changes all the time. Their prices goes up and down depending on the season, depending on the month, all that stuff, depending on how good your ads are, depending on how good your follow-up is, because this cost can go down? What if you could increase your closing ratio from the estimates that you sent to the estimates that you actually closed into actual paying clients? What if you could increase that to 90%, 80%, 70, 60, whatever? What if you can increase that? You can lower this cost. Or if you can increase the closing ratios from Facebook leads to actual leads, if you can make sure that all of those people get estimates and then also increase how many of those you actually close, you can lower this. You can also lower this by having much better hooks, much better offers, much better videos, engaging videos. All of that plays a big part in your total marketing plan and how much you're going to spend. But this is just really quick way to figure this out. If you have one-time services like landscaping, bush trimming, any kind of installs, you have a little bit more to play with because your numbers are going to be different. You might be paying $500 for a Facebook lead, but in reality, because you have such a low close ratio, because let's say you have high minimums or what, maybe you suck at sales, maybe this is your first or second year and you're still learning how to do sales, your close ratio is not as high as it could be. Maybe you end up paying $1,000 for an actual client. But if you're making $10,000 and hopefully your profit, on a let's say on design build, let's say on a paver patio, you have about 40% margins. It should be higher, but 40% margins, then 40% of 10,000 is literally $4,000, and you spent $1,000 to acquire that client. So now you have $3,000 profit, and you can upsell those people into a maintenance program. If you do maintenance, if you don't do maintenance, you can still do some things like paver sealing. Always be finding ways to upsell clients to increase the lifetime value of them. You can upsell them a paver sealing this year. You could upsell them on maybe planting different things, whatever. Okay, there's always something you can upsell them. So you can basically in lowering your total cost of what it costs a client, for one-time services, especially for one-time services, you can really lower your acquisition cost. Let's say you got a client and you finish your work, you'd be like, hey, just wondering, do you hate me? You're gonna be thrown off. You'd be like, what? No, I don't hate you. That's a weird question. Okay, well, you haven't told anybody about me. You haven't shared our business information on Facebook. You haven't shared any pictures. Obviously, I'm just kidding. I know you don't hate me, but is there anybody? Do you have any friends or family that would be interested in having the same service that we just gave you? Is there anybody you want to share us with? Don't be selfish and keep us to yourself. Is there any phone numbers that you can give me that I can call and let them know that you gave me their information so that I can reach out to them and one referral, even if it's only a few $1,000s for a design build. Let's say you do some kind of mulch install for a few $1,000s or some plantings. You just generated more money. That lifetime value of that client became even more, dynamically speaking, because of a referral. You didn't spend any more money acquiring that client, the other client. It was just a little bit of talking. So that is it. That's all I got. That's how I run ads. That's how I set up ads. That's how I scale my ads. That's how I test ads. And that's how I know my numbers, guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment down below, subscribe, share, post this on Facebook, share it with other people. My goal is to help as many people as I can become profitable. I don't want you to pay agencies anymore, because most of them just suck. I don't want you to, even if you, let's say you are paying an agency, that's fine. But I don't want you to waste your ad dollars and not following up. With Facebook leads, you have to follow up. I explained it earlier in the videos. You have to follow up militantly, okay? Don't waste your ad dollars. If you are wasting money, especially extra money on an agency, then make sure you're following up. Follow up. And there's a way to do it within 30 seconds within max 1 minute. Call them, text them, email them. You can automate this using software. Good luck, guys. I hope everybody kicks butt this 2025 season. God bless you.